let's have a look at the main things you have to know if you want to knit a similar sweater. I used Alaffoslopi yarn, and this sweater is knitted top down. I used 3 different sizes of needles, 6 for casting on and knitting the first round. Then I went to 6.5, and for the sleeves I used number 7. All the cuffs and ribbings were also done in 6.5. The sweater itself is 64 centimeters wide, so it's slightly oversized for me. Now let's go to all the details. I casted on 72 stitches on needles number 6 and knitted 1 round using this. Then I went to 6.5 and knitted 7 rounds. After this, after 8 rounds, I made the first round of increases. So I added stitches using this pattern. I knitted 3 and then I twisted the yarn and put on the needles. Twisted 3 and extra stitch. In this way I got 96 stitches. I knitted 1 more round, kind of to fix the increases, and then I did the lifting of the back. You can see that the back is much higher, so I had to knit like extra fabric for the back. I will add a little tutorial at the end of the video, and I will be knitting all the lifting together with you so you can see. But generally it's done like this, and I wrote, if you don't need to follow the video, here is the scheme. Here is the scheme for the lifting. So it means I started here, I put a marker, and I knitted 20 stitches and turned. Then I purled on the wrong side like 40 stitches and stopped. Then I turned, and I used for turnings, I used German short row technique. Then I turned and started knitting again and knitted 40 and added 5 more and turned. And then I had to purl 50. So every time I came to the end, I added 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So, and by doing this part, like the back and the shoulders, grew a bit. I never came close here, so I didn't do anything here, so it stayed the same. It's only this part kept growing. That's why we have the back higher. And for this, it sits very nicely and never like strangles or suffocates you. So I did 8 turnings. Okay. So after the lifting, I knitted 6 rounds and made the second round of increases. I used the same pattern for adding, knitted 3, twisted the yarn and put on the needle. And now I've got 128 stitches. After doing this, I knitted 5 rounds and made the third round of increases. Using this same pattern, knitted 3, twisted the yarn and put on the needle. Now I have 170 stitches. When you knit round yokes, you have to know how many stitches you have to get here after finishing knitting the yoke. There's a formula that you could use for any sweater like this. So you take the amount of stitches you cast it on, and then you multiply by 2.7, and that's the number of stitches you have to get. Of course, it depends a lot on how wide your neckline is, or if you are knitting for a child, not an adult. this number differs then. If your neckline is not very wide, not very open, so then this number works perfectly well. So I had to get 194 stitches. And now on the needles I had 170. So I knitted 6 more rounds and made the 4th round of increases. And now I changed the rhythm of adding stitches. So now I knitted 7 and added a stitch. Knitted 7, 7 knits, add a stitch. And I've got 194. The increases, I have to say, it's the way I did, it's not a traditional way of increases. I was experimenting, I would say. And I wanted to see how different the sweater gets, what shape it gets if you change the traditional increases. If you don't want to experiment and want to get a very nice sweater, you could use, instead of 4, you could use 5 rounds of increases and use this pattern. So first, when you start, you knit 3 and add 1. Then after knitting some pattern stockinette or using maybe other pattern, you knit 4 and add a stitch. Then you knit 5, add a stitch, 6, add a stitch, and 7 and add a stitch. By doing this, you usually need 5 rounds of increases. And if you can see, the number I got is 192. The difference is just in 2 stitches, so it changes nothing. You have to incorporate one extra round of increases into your knitting. And you can do it by knitting fewer rounds in stockinette. So instead of knitting 6 rounds or 8 rounds, you would knit, let's say, 4 rounds everywhere. So then you would have a space for an extra round of increases. So after doing the 4th round of increases, I knitted 4 more rounds, and it was time for me to separate the body and the sleeves. I divided this number into 3. 1/3 was divided by 2 and it was given to the sleeves. The front got 66 and the back got 64. When I started knitting, so I started here, I knitted 32 and then I bound off the stitches for the sleeve, but added 5 for the armpits. How to add stitches for the armpits, I've made a very short tutorial and it will be also included in this video. So I added 5 stitches and then I knitted 66 for the front. I bound off 32, added 5 for the armpits and knitted the rest 32. And then it was an easy thing just to knit in the round to make the body. My sweater has pockets. When I decided that it was time for the pockets, I marked 10 stitches for each pocket, and there are 18 stitches here in the middle. And I took a piece of yarn of different color and knitted those 10 stitches. And then returned the stitches back on the needle and knitted on top with the main yarn. And continued knitting. After finishing the ribbing, it was done slip 1, purl 1, slip 1, purl 1, and in the next round it was knit 1, purl, knit, purl. I tried the usual one, ribbing, but it didn't look very nice. Then I opened this different yarn knitting, and I've got open stitches here and here. I picked those on the needle and bound off, and I picked those stitches on a different needle and continued knitting with different color. And then I simply bound off and just attached it to the main fabric. Then it was time for the sleeves. So what I did, I unraveled the extra yarn and put 32 stitches on the needles. And then I had those 5 extra stitches, but before and after those armpit stitches, there were quite big gaps in the fabric. So I picked 2 stitches before and 2 stitches after the armpit stitches, and I got 41 stitches. I put it on and I saw that it's a bit too wide, so I made the decreases at once. So I decreased 2 together, knitted, and 2 together. You can see it here, it makes a little V. I kept doing this till I got 36 stitches on the needle. So I made 5 decreases. And then I continued knitting, making some decreases till I got 26 stitches, and then I did the ribbing and closed the stitches. For the embroidery part, I made these flowers here, and the back has these flowers. I think I've talked about all main points you have to know if you want to knit a similar sweater. I hope I explained clearly and you could understand it. If not, if you have some questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below and I will be glad to answer you. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. So let's check what we've done. We've made the increases, first increases, and then we knitted 1 round. Let's double check. We made the, see, increase, there's like an extra stitch. Now step 3, that's a bit more difficult, but not that much, because we will be lifting the back. At the moment, our back and our front is the same size, right? Let's do the back higher. What we do, it says it will be 4 turnings, but like 1 turning means two times you have to go. Okay, now we won't be knitting in rounds, we will be knitting in rows. Okay, let's move the marker and row 1, the right side, yeah, knit 20 and turn. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now what I do, I knitted 20, so now not to make the gap, I twist the 21st stitch, yeah, and turn. Row 1 is done. Now row 2 is on the wrong side. We have the wrong side. Purl 40 and turn. Okay, so it means purling to the marker. That will be 20 because we knitted 20. Okay. You don't have to count here because it goes to the marker. By the way, do you like the marker? I made it myself. It's beautiful. Okay, 20, and now purl another 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now we have to wrap the 21st stitch like this. We do this so we don't have gaps here. Okay, purl 40 and turn. Done. Row 3, the right side, yeah. Knit 45 and turn. So it means we are knitting back to the marker. So that's 20. And that's 20. Yeah. 20. Now we're knitting the 20 we knitted. Do we have to count them? Not necessarily, because the 21st stitch is wrapped and you will see it. See, we are now going back and forth only on the back, and it will be on the sleeves and a bit on the front. So we will lift it up. Look, 20, and I see that this stitch, can you see it has this? So it was my wrapping. Now I take it off, put it on the stitch on the needle again, and now I have to knit in this way so my wrapped yarn hides behind. So now we knitted 20, 20, so it's 40, fixed that stitch, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, and now we have to wrap this again and turn. Okay, it means row 3, right side, knit 45 and turn. Done. Wrong side. Okay, row 4, purl 50 and turn. So it means purling to the marker, purling 20 stitches after the marker, and the twisted stitch will stop you there. If you're not sure, you can always count. Okay, so now purling 25, to the marker. Okay, now to the marker. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Can you see? There's my wrapped stitch. What I do, I take it off and put on the needle, and I have to make sure that this stitch, the original one, not the wrapped one, is facing the fabric. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and wrap the 6th. Okay, can you see that now the back is getting wider than the front, right? So if I put it like this, can you see it's getting longer or higher, and that's what we are aiming. So this is the wrapped stitch, and let's see. We purled 50 and turned and turned. Now we are on the right side, knit 55 and turn. Okay. So it means 25 before the marker. Trying to find the right. 25. Though it's the most difficult step, this step 3. In fact, it's not that difficult, right? It's just like normal knitting in rows. 25. Now remove the marker. Now 25 here, and then we should meet our wrapped stitch. Can you see how it grows in size? It's very nice, smooth growing. Okay, we should meet it somewhere here. See? It's like a loop on the neck. And a hangman. Okay, let's take it off. Let's put on the needle and knit this way so that the nice stitches facing the front. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's wrap the 6th and turn. Knitted 55 and turn. Done. Row 6, wrong side. Purl 60 and turn. Okay, not much left. Okay, purl 60, so it means we will purl 30 here to the marker. Every row we add 5 stitches at the end of the row we are knitting. And in this way the lifting gets very smooth and unnoticeable. Okay, so we are knitting 30, sorry, purling 30, and now 25, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. See, that's the loop, this one. And now we have to add 5 stitches, so we have 30 purls. Okay, let's remove the loop and twist the stitch, put the loop, and now I purl. Can you see no twisting here? Very nice. It looks a bit longer, but then this will disappear. 1, 26, 27. Let me make a magic loop. 27, 28, 29, 30, wrap and turn. So we did the wrong side. Now we have 2 rows left. Now we are on the right side. We have to knit 65. 30 to the marker, 30 after the marker, and add 5 more. I do this in all my sweaters. The number of the stitches you knit, short rows differs because if the yarn is thinner, so of course you start not with 20 and turn, you may start with 30 and turn. But the principle, the main method is the same. That makes your garments sit very nicely on your shoulders. Our neckline doesn't strangle you. You make the same as you find in all t-shirts and jumpers and sweaters. So it's worth spending some 15 minutes to make the back higher. Okay, so now we knit 30 after the marker. If you're new and you've never done it, I suggest counting every time 21, 22. So that will help you to understand better and how the back is lifted and not to lose the count of stitches, especially if you are not used to finding the wrapped stitch. But I guess after 1 or 2 liftings it will be very easy. So see, I can see that it's here. It's attached to this, and then it makes a tiny hole. Okay, so we knit up to this. See, this little here is my loop. Okay, I take it off, hide it behind, and knit, and it counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and wrap and turn. Okay, row 7 is done. We have the last row on the wrong side. Here it is. Purl 70 and turn. Hooray! And the most difficult step soon will be over. Okay. Can you see? I knit and I see where I have to stop, because this is the stitch with the loop. See? And then it makes a gap, because it's like the loop holds her too close to the previous stitch. That's why it makes a gap, because it kind of leans closer to that stitch. Okay, see, that's that stitch. Let's remove the loop. Okay, let's hide it behind. In our case, it's in front. Here, always check yourself. Nice, nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And wrap and turn. Okay, and knit. We are on the right side, 35 to the marker. Let's double check if we are right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have to get 35, right? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Slip the marker. Knit 35 to the marker. Done. And now we have to divide. Our marker is here. So we have to knit half of the stitches of the back. That is 32 will go this way and 32 this way. Okay, so we knit 32 stitches, and then we have to separate the sleeves. Then you count 32 for the sleeves, put another marker here, and then you have to bind these off with a different yarn, and it will be a temporal bind off. I bind off 32. I don't have that many stitches because I wasn't doing all the steps. Okay, but we will imagine the time binding of 32 stitches, and I will show you how to make the armpit stitches. Okay, do we have enough? Okay, let's make some more. Okay, let's say these are our 32 stitches, right? Okay, these are our 32 stitches, and there will be our little sleeve. Yeah. Now we have to add here some stitches. What I always do is I take a crochet hook and crochet a chain of stitches. In this case, we need 5. So, but you have to crochet a bit more so it's easier to work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can make some 4 or 5 extras. Okay. Okay. So this is the chain. If you turn it upside down, can you see those little bumps? And you can go in there. So this is what we need. So we take this little piece, we go to where our sweater yarn is, and now what I do, I go into the first bump, and pull the sweater yarn through 1. Then I go into another, two. Then I go into the third, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we added 5. You can leave it dangle here, and then you start knitting the front, and for the front you have 66 stitches. See, we've made a sleeve here. So now you knit 66 And again, count 32 stitches, put a marker, bind off, and add 5 with a provisional thread, okay? Why do we need this? I will show you. I'll knit some rows here, so because I will have to unravel it and I want you to see what you get. It's time to knit the sleeves. Your sleeves will look like this, right? You will unravel this, open up the stitches, and pick them on the needles. And when you come to this part, look what happens. You have to unravel the provisional yarn, and look what happens with those 5 stitches. Can you see the beauty? These are open stitches. It means you will pick them up and see there's like a big gap. So you will pick 2 stitches from this side, 2 stitches from that side, pick those up, and we'll knit in the round. You will have no seam, nothing. It's just the body will smoothly go into the sleeve. Then you can use the embroidery. I will put the links below. Or you can leave it like this, unembroidered. I hope you find it useful and you can make your own round yoke sweater using this little tutorial. And I say bye for now.